dividends, but is it the most incredible thing that you can come in and get Middle East peace done? But if you really unpack Middle East peace, do you think that Middle East peace would have happened if the cost of solar was not cheaper than the cost of oil? Honestly, be like if you didn't see an end in sight to oil, do you think that the Middle East peace would have got done?
You're saying.
I don't think so.
Well, I know what you're saying, which is that if the Middle East wasn't becoming less strategically relevant to us, that creates degrees of freedom, I think. But yeah.
That's had profound benefits for Silicon Valley too, right? Like, I mean, all the Saudi money that went into the Vision Fund and the money from Qatar and the money from like all these sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East has funded a lot of venture funds, has gone into direct late stage rounds in a lot of companies. And it's really been a great boom for Silicon Valley. People can make fun of the companies getting overfunded and the nonsense that's gone on all they want.
Money better that than gold-plated Ferraris.
It filters out into more angel investing. It filters out into more venture LPs, and it ultimately gives a big boost to this ecosystem. So I think that the damage to oil has been great for Silicon Valley.
The most incredible dividend of climate change is peace. It's like it has made radical Islam a failed startup, a hyped Series A that couldn't raise its Series B. It's made, sworn enemies over thousands of years cooperate together. All for what reason? Because you got to pull the oil out of the ground now and monetize it, because otherwise the cost of wind and the cost of solar, and you have to diversify, because otherwise the cost of wind and the cost of solar is going to make pulling the oil out of the ground economically infeasible within 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, you already can't do it offshore.
They took Saudi Aramco public. They started selling off the shares, and they invested that capital in tech and other stuff around the world. And
it's been helpful, but there is another factor at work, which is the fear of Iran is now greater than on the part of Saudi Arabia and Israel. Their fear of Iran is now greater than whatever mutual hostility they used to have, and so it's kind of bringing people together that way. But you got to give Kushner credit for still getting those deals done. No one thought he could do it. I remember everyone was mocking him.
I agree.
He's not a moron, and he's not he's the opposite of an abrasive guy, and he's very thoughtful and apparently very I don't know if you guys know him personally, but he's supposed to be very smart. And I'm sure that wherever he ends up next, he's going to do very well, and he's going to get invited to be in a lot of places.
Yeah. No, it's clear he did a very good job on the Middle East stuff.
Yeah. By the way, how crazy is it that Trump delivers on hottest economy ever, peace in the Middle East, and 3 vaccines for coronavirus, and he's still lost? Who would have thought that?
Well, it does go to tell you what people think of character.
Yeah.
Character matters.
If you watch how he tweets, but
he tweeted himself out of office. If he acted normal, Sacks, he could actually take those victories. If he stopped the personal attacks, if he stopped the grifting, he would have won.
He could have been. It would have been more than one. If he
could have been Reagan.
It's exactly what I was thinking. If he came in 2016, calm, cool, and collected, with a team where there was dial down the insecurity and dial up sort of the intensity of actually calling people out for not passing progressive change, he would have been elected in a landslide. People would have said, well, on the way in, we were afraid, but after 4 years, the guy
he could have been magnanimous, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and it was a real missed opportunity for him.
I still think much of Trump is he's a WWE superstar, and that's what people voted for. It's why Jesse Ventura got elected governor of Minnesota. It's why Arnold Schwarzenegger got elected governor of California. The average, person that's looking at that guy versus, the old dude that doesn't talk and, saying some weird stuff about policy, it's like, oh man, that guy looks awesome. Let's put him in office. Like, this is going to be fucking fun. And if he turned it down when he got in office, he'd be much less appealing, I think, to a lot of people. I think it's that caricature of himself that makes him so appealing.
Then I'd like to go on the record with my 15-year projection which is that The Rock is going to run for president and win.
I think, the Iran situation, just to put that in perspective, David, if you look at the age distribution on the chart I just put in the chat, it is just extraordinary how young that country is. The median age is, I think, 28 or 29 years old. And they're barely holding on to power there. And it is going to flip into a much more progressive society than it is now. They are barely holding on. When you look at how many 25-year-olds and 30-year-olds there are in that country who are drinking and watching TV and have VPNs and they have the internet and they're watching porn and they're gambling, I'm sure, and buying Bitcoin and doing all this crazy stuff. That country's barely holding on. It's going to be a crazy civil war. And let's just hope they don't have nuclear bombs when that civil war happens.
Yeah, guys, like being like extremist is just like, it's just a bad product market fit now. You know, it's just like not worth it. There's no money to fund it. Nobody cares that much anymore. Everybody's moved on.
Low NPS score.
Yeah.
Would you recommend extremism to a friend or family member? 2. All right. This has been another all-in podcast for Bestie C, the Rain Man David Sacks, and the Queen of Quinoa on his coming out party today. IPO coming up for Metro Mile. Congratulations to Friedberg. Congratulations to Chamath on the pipe. Sacks and I, we're going to have to figure out a way to lick our wounds and wet our beaks. Let's put our thinking caps on and over the break find a deal we can exclude these two from. Because we gotta get in early, get 30% of a company, and then we gotta have Chamath, Spackett, and Freeberg do the late stage deal with all this Metro Mile money. And we'll see you all next time on the All In Podcast. That was fucking great. Best one yet.